Good morning and welcome to the Morning Scoop for Friday, September 18th. This is your daily Buckeye fix. I'm Tom Orr. The Big Ten football season kicks off exactly 5 weeks from today. We still don't know exactly who will be playing on that opening night of Friday, October 23rd, but that news and the entire updated Big Ten schedule could drop as soon as today. While we wait for that, there's other big news to talk about this morning. Buckeye Scoop beat writer Tony Gerdeman joins me this morning. And Tony, the big story Thursday was the return of quarterback Shaun Wade, who is opting back in for the 2020 season with the Buckeyes.
Yeah, big news. Another 5-star commitment for Ryan Day, and this guy's proven already. And the help that he gives to the secondary is immense because we know how good he is. He is He's now the lone starter returning once again. One of the top cornerbacks in the nation, future first rounder. The questions were, what were they going to do without him? Now they don't have to worry about those. And he's a captain. He's a leader of the secondary. He is the leader of the secondary. And now they don't need to go find a new one. And who knows who that would have been? Even going through my mind right now, who would the leader of the secondary be without Shaun Wade? And so having him back is a weight lifted off of Ryan Day for sure. And it's been a wave of those this week for the Buckeye head coach. And I'm sure, getting the season started or getting the season back is great. Getting Wyatt Davis is great. This is just as great for Day, and I'm sure Kerry Combs, defensive coordinator and secondary coach as well.
Yeah, I mean, getting Davis back is obviously huge up front, but there's a lot of, I think, in a way that getting Wade back is actually a bigger deal just because of the depth. I mean, the offensive line, they have quality depth in the offensive line in a way that they just don't in the cornerback room right now. I mean, they probably would have been okay with Sevyn Banks and Cameron Brad outside and Marcus Williamson inside. That's something we had talked about earlier this week. But, I mean, the return of Wade lets them play that 3 outside corner rotation they like to. It also provides a little more insurance in case someone gets hurt or has a COVID issue. I mean, this certainly is a year when it seems like depth is shaping up to be a more important thing this year than a normal year, and that provides this. Even setting aside probably a first-round pick, just the depth issue alone makes this a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and it seems strange to say Shaun Wade is another body, but he is, and that helps because Ryan Day has talked since the announcement was made that football is returning to the Big Ten, how he's going to have to use the depth. The depth is going to be necessary. Young guys are going to play, old guys are going to play because you just don't know who might be out when, so you have to get everybody ready. And having one extra guy out there who is disciplined, who understands what it takes, who has come back for a singular purpose of winning a national title, that kind of guy is the guy who is going to hold others accountable, hold himself accountable, and do everything he can to make sure that his team is clean when it comes to getting tested, when it comes to the weekends and being free of the strictures of the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. He's going to be leading his team because, like I said, he came back to win a championship, and gosh, it would be it's probably going to happen for somebody in the title picture this year where something bad happens and somebody misses a couple of weeks. But as many guys as you can have, you're going to use, you're going to need, and having him back is. It's a double checker, I guess. It'd be the king, if you will.
Well, Thursday, one of the sure signs of the college football season, the Ryan Day radio show returned to the airwaves. There were a few interesting pieces of information to come out of that. Dr. Jim Borchers, who is an Ohio State doctor who is part of the Big Ten's medical committee, he said players will undergo COVID testing either 6 or 7 times each week, including the day before and day of every game. One important point that we learned on that show, guys who test positive will get another test to confirm that positive test, so they will not immediately be out for 21 days no matter what with one positive test. That was something that was kind of vague during the Big Ten's initial rollout of this, all the protocols. That was, I think, an important detail to sort of get clarified on Thursday. On the football front, one of the young guys Day singled out during his time at the mic was Court Williams. He's someone I think that a lot of us are pretty high on, and we've heard some pretty good things about, even stretching back to his high school days. But Tony, for those who don't know him or aren't quite as familiar with Court Williams, can you share a little bit of a scouting report?
Yeah, came from California as a future bullet, I guess. Listed at 6'1", 221. He's playing safety right now because when Ryan Day talked about him, he was talking about the secondary. This is also a guy who enrolled early, and back in the spring, Ryan Day said he'd be a future captain. So when a coach is saying that stuff about somebody pretty early, yeah, you kind of put some mental checks in your mind about this guy. And then for Day to bring him up, he was, I believe, the only freshman he brought up defensively, and one of the only names he brought up defensively, while not just running through a position group. And so that is significant. It's that he's, making plays, smart, doing well. And, I guess every year for maybe every year for the past handful or so, there's been a freshman secondary or freshman safety in the two deep. Go back to like even Jordan Fuller's freshman year, he was a backup in the two deep. You go back to Josh Proctor and guys where they add depth, and that sure seems like what Court Williams is going to be doing. But as Ryan Day also said, they're going to be playing a bunch of guys. So I guess maybe Ohio State will have like a 220-pound free safety running around there at sometime, sometimes this season. And just based on everything people are saying about him, he's one to watch. And while he's got this year doesn't even count. He'll be a true freshman next year as well. And so we'll see what he does down the road. But yeah, was I surprised to hear his name? A little bit that Ryan Day went ahead and singled him out. But then when he singles him out, you're like, yeah, that makes sense because of what we heard about him back in the spring.
Yeah, it's a little surprising to hear any freshman singled out, but if he's going to single a freshman out, like, yeah, okay, that's not a name that would surprise me to hear him use. Two other defenders who Day singled out were Zach Harrison and Javonte Jean-Baptiste. This will come as a shock to people who have followed Larry Johnson's career, but it turns out he's got a lot of really talented defensive ends this year. How about that? That never happens. And it sounds like Ryan Day, the depth and the talent they have there, he sounded pretty excited about what they've got working at that defensive end position this fall.
Yeah, big, long, fast guys with they've got that reach which they all love, and we've seen Javonte Jean-Baptiste in the spring do some things, and he was in that mix last year as well. Got a start at Rutgers. Zach Harrison, I think, started the Clemson game, just to give you an idea of how far he came. And obviously everybody expects him to be the next guy at defensive end. But Ryan Day also mentioned Tyler Friday and Tyreek Smith. And don't forget about Jonathan Cooper, who came back for a very specific reason as well. So it's another deep group. And it's not just depth, it's talented depth. And I think everybody wants to see – there's a lot of guys who have been waiting, and this is when you expect them to blossom. Basically, the five guys I just mentioned, any one of them could just explode this year. And because now is the time. You've got, for Javonte Jean-Baptiste and Tyreek Smith and Tyler Friday, this is their third year. Zach Harrison, the five-star all-everything. As that, then you are supposed to explode in your second year, which he is. And we've all been waiting for Jonathan Cooper, and he's been waiting to live up to his hype as well now, and his perhaps final year. And so there's a lot of guys who are, I guess, ready, or the timing should occur right now or this season to become just really disruptive playmakers, I would think.
And we will have time to run through every position group at some point in the coming weeks. We do have 5 more weeks before the football games actually start. So that means we have you and I have probably 10 Buckeye Weekly podcasts at least between now and then. I've got probably 25 morning scoops between now and then. We've got some time, but we're going to do one more today before we let everyone go. Let's talk running back. Master Teague, Trey Sermon, both sound like they're good to go right now. Day said Marcus Crowley is still kind of working his way back from a knee injury. Sermon this week was the first player to lose his black stripe. I think that happened on Wednesday, and I think that kind of got a little bit lost with all of the other news that broke on Wednesday. But it's starting to sound like he could be a pretty major contributor to this team.
Yeah, Day said that I guess during or after practice, Ryan Stamper, the all everything assistant. Jack of all trades for the Buckeyes, who handles player development, asked Day, is like, hey, is it, can we start getting rid of some of these stripes? It's time to go. It's time. And I was surprised that somebody lost one before the pads went on. but I think they would just want to start getting things moving on and things like that. And Trey Sermon being a full veteran and doing everything he's been asked and doing everything he's been asked very well. This was a no-brainer for them, so they did that. And yeah, it's better than the alternative where it's like, well, when is Trey Sermon going to get his black stripe off? He's a veteran. He's a college graduate. What's going on? And so to see him, I think he was the betting favorite going into the year to lose his stripe first, and so it was no surprise. I think it's obviously good. It's foretelling. It isn't always, Tom, as you know, but I think here it's more telling when it's a transfer.
Yeah, betting on the grad transfer, with the track record of pretty high performance at another Power Five school, that is kind of cheating on the who's going to be the first person to lose their stripe betting. But yeah, once again, last year it was Jonah Jackson. This year, Trey Sermon. So, Tony, thank you for joining us. It's about to start getting real, especially next week for the Buckeyes as they start ramping up for the season. That makes this a really, really good time to join Buckeye Scoop. Our members have gotten a lot of incredible insights and, hey, guess what? Scoops. It's right there, the name. Over the last few weeks, our insiders broke the return of Wyatt Davis, the return of Shaun Wade, plus a number of major developments with the Big Ten's return to play. If you are enough of a Buckeye fan to be listening to this show every day, you are pretty much exactly the type of person that this site is made for. So you can sign up today at buckeyescoop.com, start getting all of the insight analysis and, once again, yes, scoops that you've been missing out on. The season is coming. This is the time to do it. It is all at buckeyescoop.com. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great weekend. We will talk to you Monday.